Happy first day of spring, my frugal family. You all have been on my mind and my heart and in my prayers so much lately. So I wanted to get together with you in my kitchen today and create a warm, cozy, comfy, yummy honey twist. This thing is going to be awesome. It is the first time I'm ever making it, but I figured I'd take you along on the journey and we could do it together. Just a nice little diversion from everything that is going on, and no better place to be than with your friends around the kitchen, right? So grab a cup of something warm or cold, wherever you might be, and settle back and let's make this together. So I collect vintage cookbooks, and I think I've told you that. And I went in and I pulled one out from 1943 called The American Woman's Cookbook. And this is basically a cookbook that uses simple ingredients that most of us have on hand. And this was a time before convenience foods bombarded the shelves and everything was pre-made and ready-made. And people spent a lot of time cooking in the kitchen. And I like to cook, so not necessarily a bad thing. But I thought this recipe sounded wonderfully. It is a yeast twist with honey on top, and we're going to add a little chocolate chips, and it just uses basic wholesome ingredients. So without further ado, let's get into the kitchen and create this wonderful honey twist together. I hope this blesses you. So here is a picture of what it looks like. Now, of course, this is a 1940s cookbook, so it is going to be in black and white, though some of the pictures are in Technicolor in this book, so it's kind of neat, but that's what it's going to look like. And here's the recipe, honey twist. Okay, so let's get started. I have a cup of scalded milk right here. And to that, I am going to add a quarter cup, which is 4 tablespoons of butter. Let me just get something to stir. I am going to add a half a cup of sugar. And it calls for a teaspoon of salt, but I'm only going to put like a quarter because my butter is salty. So if I had sweet cream butter, I wouldn't have done this, and now I'm just going to dissolve this until the butter is melted, and I'm going to just let it cool. In this cup right here, I have a quarter cup of warm water. Warm, make sure it's not hot because it will kill your yeast. And the recipe calls for 2 cakes of yeast, which a cake of yeast is equivalent to 2¼ teaspoons. So if it's calling for 2 cakes, I am going to have to put 4½ teaspoons of yeast. Now I buy my yeast in bulk when we go up to visit Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, which we do several times a year because I love it there. We really do. We enjoy the whole feel of the place, and they have some great deals, and we stock up on bulk foods while we're there, and it's just a fun little area. So that's just a side note. Okay, so that is 4½ teaspoons of yeast, which is equivalent to 2 cakes of yeast, and I'm just going to mix this up in the warm water. Now we're going to just let this sit. You know, it's so funny, I'm looking at my hands while I'm doing this, and you ladies will appreciate this. Now that we're in the house every day and not going anywhere, I haven't done my nails. And Dixie heard me banging. She thought somebody was at the door. I haven't done my nails, and I really need to. It's like I get up in the morning and I'm like, okay, well, we're not going anywhere. So, okay, I can just do my hair and put it up in a bun on my head, or I don't have to do my nails, but I really have to try to get a little more with it with that stuff. So it's funny though, but we're not seeing people, so you tend to be a little bit more relaxed around the house. So this is just going to bubble and foam, as you can see. And we're just going to let that sit for a minute while the butter mixture, which the butter and milk sugar has been added here to my mixer, and that's just cooling. So I let the milk and sugar mixture cool, and you don't want to add the yeast or the eggs to a hot milk mixture because, as you know, you'll get scrambled eggs and you'll kill the yeast. So we're going to add the yeast, the water and the yeast, which is nice and bubbly, right to the milk mixture, it says. And that's what we're going to do. Let's get all that yeast out because that's going to give it the light, airy quality we want. And then we're going to add 2 large eggs to this mixture. And we're going to gently give it a whirl with our food. Now I have it on dough hook, which is fine because we just want to incorporate the eggs. Now what I'm going to do is add, it says 5 to 6 cups of flour. So I am going to start with 4 and start kneading it. And remember, when you do your flour, just take it, level it off, and then you're going to do that here. So I'm going to put this down. So let's add 1, 2, I'm going to start with 3. It says 5 to 6, but I just want to incorporate this, and then we'll add a little bit more. So I'm going to mix this together. So after 3 cups of flour, we can see this is a pretty wet dough. So we're going to put in 4, and then now it called for 5 to 6, so we're going to do 5 to start. Okay, let's go back to this. So after the 5 cups, the dough is pretty good. It's got a nice stretch to it, but I am going to knead it for just a little while. That's 5 cups exactly, and I don't need an ounce more of flour. It feels good. It's not dry. It's not sticky. So I am just going to knead it now. I am going to knead it for about 3 minutes with the machine on dough hook. If you were doing it by hand, the same amount of time. So here is the dough. It looks beautiful. So what I'm going to do, I have a greased bowl, and I'm just pushing this. How do little things get in your dough? Do you ever notice that? Okay, we're just going to let this go like this. Grease it all the way around, and now we are going to let this rise. Okay. Hope I'm not out of there. My work area is a mess. I love that. You guys are getting to see it. Now I'm going to cover it with a tea towel. And I am just going to set it aside. I'm going to start with an hour. It's got to double. So I'm going to put it aside for an hour, and we'll check on it in an hour. The dough rose beautifully. So now I'm going to punch this down, and I'm going to pull it out of here. And it says, oh yeah, this is a beautiful dough. Now we are going to take this. I'm just going to give it a quick knead. And we're going to take this somehow, and we're going to fit it in this 8-inch pan. It's what it said to do. So I am trusting in this 1940s recipe. It said to stretch the dough into about 1-inch diameter. So what I did was just stretch this out. This dough is amazing to work with. It doesn't rip, it doesn't tear. And I made, this is about 1 inch, I would say, pretty close. And I just took the dough and I stretched it out. It was super simple, And I'm telling you, this dough is a joy to work with. It's so, it's stretchy. It's like doesn't rip. Really beautiful dough. So now what I'm going to do is take my greased 8-inch pan and I'm going to start folding this in here. Isn't this cute? This is going to be so unique. I've never made, I didn't think this would fit at first, but goodness, look at that. Come on, this is so exciting. Beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to stop and I'm going to make the topping. And then we're going to glaze it and it's going to rise with the topping on it. So in this bowl, I have a 1/4 cup of butter at room temperature. And then we have to put in 2/3 cup of powdered sugar. Now I am a little concerned that's going to be super sweet. So I am going to go with 1/3 cup, okay? I'm going to see the consistency, so just bear with me. Because we also have in this pot, I have warmed 2 tablespoons of honey. So 2/3 of sugar just seems like a lot, but let's see if it has something to do with the consistency. So then that I will have to add it, but let's see what happens. And I also have to add, I'm going to just come in here and grab a fork. And I am going to cream this together by hand. Now, I'm thinking this looks like a good amount. So I am just going with 1/3 cup. It does call for 2. What do you think, Paul? Do I add the extra third? Tell me.
Nah, put that on. See what it looks like.
So now, let me taste it before. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Yeah, that's sweet. Now I have to add an egg white. I wanted to taste it before I added the egg white too. So what I'm going to do is keep my yolk because you can always use an yolk in an omelet. Okay, so I'm going to add that right to there and put the yolk back in. Don't waste anything, right? Especially today. You get the mop-in or dish rag, as some of you may call it. Then I'm going to whip this in. Okay. And make sure your honey is cool before you add that egg yolk or you're going to have scrambled eggs again. I got my handy dandy little brush. And let's... All right, this looks... You know, I've never made anything like this, so I can't get over how easy it was, number one. And number two, how amazing the dough, we were able to stretch it. Yeah, this is a lot of frosting here. So we are going to get this in every nook and cranny. Doesn't this look amazing? I'm curious how the dough is going to be, if it's going to be flaky or if it's going to be more like a bread dough, but it's got butter and eggs. So I'm thinking, yeah, I'm glad I didn't use that other amount of sugar. Hopefully it will solidify a little. Okay. So there we go with that. I don't want that to burn. All right. So now what we have to do is let it rise until doubled again. So I am going to just set this aside. Wow, is that heavy? And I am going to let it rise for, I'm going to say another hour. I'll check it after 30 minutes and see what it's like. And then I will get back to you and let you know. So this is 45 minutes of rise time. I don't want to over rise it because I'm afraid that I will overinflate it. I think that's the thing. Look at this. I'm like, wow. Okay, and then Paul and I were talking and we thought maybe a sprinkle of cinnamon on top. Do you agree, Paul?
I think so, yeah.
Let's just a little, I'm going to put it through here. And just, you see how lightly I am doing this? It did not call for cinnamon, but I'm thinking that may just be a nice little added touch with the sugar and the honey. And it looks like a giant Cinnabon. Come on, people, doesn't it? So I was going to add chocolate chips. Paul and I were just talking about that too. But you think we should wait on the chocolate bit?
Yeah, I think
Try
the
it like
cinnamon
this.
and the sugar and the butter, I think that's going to be
How
a nice...
about if... No, I won't do half. I was going to do half, but we won't even need to. So listen, I have no idea what this is going to come out like, but I am so excited to put it in. It rose beautifully. So I am going to set it in a 375 oven for 25 to 30 minutes. So I will check it after 25 minutes. So there you have it. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my goodness. It's crispy. I'm going to try to take it out of the pan for you. It looks amazing. The biggest tip I can give you is make sure you put foil under this because the sugar leaked, as you can see, but thank God I had put a piece of foil under it. So all I did was lay the foil and then this on top of it, but I would almost advise you to put a cookie tray under the foil. So cookie tray, foil, and then to bake this. Okay, I am so impressed. All right, taste test time. Oh my gosh, okay. Ta-da! Come on in, Paul. What do you think, guys? This was a total win-win. Okay, I am gonna cut into it. It's been cooling, so I'm just gonna try a little piece. Paul and I. Okay. It's cutting almost like a bread. It almost reminds me of like the Italian Easter bread. Let me see. Oh my goodness, look at that crumb. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's still warm, so it's moist. Okay, I'm gonna taste. Are you ready? Okay, come on around this way. Let's see how the dough is. Ready? This will be just the dough. Oh my gosh. It's sweet. It's like almost like a challah bread, like an Easter bread. That's what it reminds me of. I'm gonna try the topping. Wow, is that good? Oh yeah. Well, and the cinnamon was perfect touch. But the crumb of this is light. Come on in, Paul. Let them just look at this. It is not, oh, it's just delicious. Oh my goodness. It's sweet, but not overly sweet. It's just perfect. If I can encourage you to do something like this while you're home, oh my goodness. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you, for a Sunday morning breakfast, for Easter, for just now, it is delicious, and I bet it will freeze really well. I think what we'll do is we'll cut it in quarters and probably freeze it and just take it out when we need it, because that's a lot for both of us. But it is so good. I promise you, oh my gosh, I actually can't get over it. So thank you. You know I wish you blessings. You know that we are praying for each and every one of you every evening. Please know that. You're in our hearts. We love you. Please be well. Please be safe. Please, if you enjoyed this video, hit and subscribe. If you are new here, please, it helps me so much. Give this a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Are you going to try this? It's in a cookbook, so I'm not sure what the copyright. I can't link it to anything, so I don't know if I can print it from a cookbook. But if you watch the video, you'll get pretty much the entire directions on how to do it. And if you have any questions, just comment me, and you know I get right back to each and every one of you. So again, thank you. I wish you blessings, and until our next video, bye-bye.